And then if you can just it's always fun for me. I love seeing kind of like where in the world you are. Type in the chat if you would just say like where you're from. Um, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start. So for those of you that are new to me, if this is your first time in one of my calls or attending Coffee with the Universe or training with me, nice to meet you. Welcome. Um, I am excited to meet so many new people recently, especially from um, TikTok and just kind of people coming in from all over the place. So very exciting for that. And then for those of you that I already know, thank you, and so grateful that you're here again and like to keep coming back. That's always a good sign when people want to keep coming back. um, so when I first started, I don't know, probably like almost 11 years ago, I knew the importance of like having a routine and of having like this, what I now call probably like sacred time, which I call coffee with the universe. And I do this I mean, for those of you that I've been doing coffee with the universe for at least 10 years, probably almost 11 years since I had my psychic abilities kind of come into me. And it's a pretty simple process for me. I sit quietly, I have my coffee, usually my dog is nearby. I journal. I don't want to say color, but I sometimes creatively distract myself so I can connect in and have divine downloads. I get my ideas for the day, sometimes my to-do list, a variety of different things. And it has just really become such a important time for me to connect to the universe, connect to myself and to what my clients are kind of most needing and how the universe would have me serve. And occasionally throughout the years, I've opened up space during that time, my Coffee with the Universe time, to support you on your journey. And whether that is about your own gifts right now, a lot of people's gifts are coming online, whether it is something with your business, maybe you're questioning maybe some next steps, or you're in a space of making decisions. Any of those things, you are so welcome to bring to this call. I want you to feel confident going into your day. This call should leave you energized and inspired, turned on, lit up, and let's just get it. So that is the intention of today's call. So what I cheers to see Lauren. I like your little coffee cup there. I have so fun set. I probably have. In fact, my kids yell at me all the time. I probably have at minimum probably 50 different coffee cups. Kids get you. I have 4 kids, so you can imagine how many kids get you different coffee cups. That's like a thing kids do for their parents, right? A lot of times. But this is like one of my favorites because if you've ever seen my dog, she's a dude, and it looks like just like her, even though um, it was not custom made. So anyway, I'm using my Doodle Mom one. Um, she's right here somewhere. So here's how this can work. I want you to kind of take a hot second with me here, maybe something that's going on in life, maybe something that's going on in your business, maybe a relationship. Again, maybe you're stuck in a place of decision. Maybe it's, okay, I mean, for some of you, it could literally be like, girl, I watched your TikTok yesterday. What did you do to me? How many of those? Yes. Yeah, it could very well be that, and it could very well be that too. So what I invite you to do is raise your hand. If you can come on camera, that's fantastic. I get not everybody's always camera ready. I swear by being camera ready. I think it's a key to success, but that's my personal belief. But you do not have to come on camera. I would love for you to, but you don't have to. But if you want to raise your little either digital hand, I can also probably gonna read the room a little bit of just like energetically, like is there somebody that needs something? Otherwise, let's just kind of do some Q&A here and see how I can most and best support you. Stacia, I was thinking about you when I was doing my makeup today, by the way. Thank you. Let's see. I am going to I know it says iPhone 2, but I'm sure that's not your name. What is what is this one here? What um you're in this, well, my side looks like it. It says iPhone 2, but I think you were messaging me. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
My name is Haley.
Yeah, were you met? I think you were message. Is it Haley or
Yes,
Kaylee?
it's Haley with an H.
Haley, nice to meet you.
You too.
Um, well, what can I tap into for you? So share just kind of a little bit about you, maybe what made you click and attend something called to you.
I don't know. I've kind of really been into that stuff all my life. I've just, I don't know. There's definitely some extra stuff that, we should tap into, I think. And I've had, I live in an older home, so I've had experiences where I've like heard some things going on. It's like people are talking in the living room kind of stuff. And like I felt my neighbor's son passed away and I felt that once. So I mean I could feel him like standing, but I couldn't see anything ever. And then I don't know, I think I've just always been super into just the other side. It's just
Yeah,
super cool. It's
yeah,
super cool.
yeah,
Yeah. But I'm
yeah.
my journey, I think right now in this moment of my life, I'm just trying to get to a place where I feel more centered with who I am and more, confident and in my skills and whether that's, my work skills, my home skills or, these extra sort of skills, whatever it is, I
Yeah.
just think that it could be super cool to learn about. For
Okay, so a couple things, and this is for you and for everybody,
sure.
as most of the messages that come to me and through me will be today. Um, I think this is so important and not discussed nearly enough. I um I have never taken a psychic development course or class ever. I literally had one reading and just knew how to do it. Like that was it. It was literally a 30-minute reading. And after that, within
Yeah.
days, I was doing full on evidential mediumship for people within weeks. I mean, people were booking readings with me at my house within a couple months. I was doing group readings. I mean, it was just, yeah, exactly. I remember that's exactly right. And it was just, it went very swiftly, right? And I believe that that doesn't have to be unique to me because I do realize that that is kind of a unique story in a lot of ways and a lot of times, right? Like people think that they have to go through this, all these courses, all of this development, all of, this, spend years and years studying before they can access their gift. And I just want to say that everybody, like that is not true. Not true at all. The other thing that I want to say is sometimes it is so, being psychic can be so subtle, you don't even realize that that's what's happening in the moment that it's happening. It can be, um, a lot of people like I'll use the word clairvoyant, right? A lot of time people will think being clairvoyant means you're actually going to get these like huge visions, or you're actually sometimes going to see, you know, see it with your actual eyes open, and it's going to be this dramatic experience. And that's often not what it is. It might be almost a very slight, subtle flash of something in your mind. And I,
Yeah.
there are so many different things like that that have never been explained to people in a very easy way,
Yeah.
that that's what's happening. um, I think what you can always trust is the way that you feel. I can't ever remember a time where I felt a certain way. um, you're you're programmed, right? It's your birthright to be able to access those feelings and that energy, your inner knowing. And so the more that you can, just when you feel it, recognize it, acknowledge it. I think that's the other thing of, okay, I hear you, I feel you. Having a quick moment can also start to strengthen that belief and strengthen those emotions. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is, again, probably for you and for everybody, and this could be about your own gifts. This could be about business. This could be about your life, about why things happen or don't happen for you. Um, our reality is completely created from our beliefs. Oftentimes in the world of law of attraction, it is your thoughts become your reality. And that's bullshit. That's not true. What is true is those thoughts, the more you think a thought, ultimately becomes a belief. And the belief is what drives and creates your reality. And when you're starting to awaken, remember, tap into those gifts, it is easy to have beliefs that especially if you're older, right? Like probably the older you are, like the more beliefs you've had from your lifetime. It is easy to let beliefs affect your gifts. So I didn't have a lot of preconceived notions of what it meant to be psychic, right? Which I believe made it so much easier for me to just be like, oh, she said I could do this. That must mean I can do it, right? Like there was no resistance. And I really believe that that is a key component for so many people, right? You start taking classes, you start reading books, you watch, I mean, honestly, like how many of you have like seen scary movies on TV and that has influenced like your even belief about your own gifts or being psychic or a medium or religion, all of those things. That really plays a big factor in you being able to trust your gifts. And so my invitation to everybody is when you start to like, oh, well, like what's an example I could use? You have to start with cards. I don't know that anybody actually like, right? You have to start using tarot first before you can do readings. You have to, get to know tarot cards and oracle cards first and do readings that way, right? If that is your belief, and if that's what you were told, et cetera, it's you're it's probably going to be really difficult to break away from that which is already kind of instilled in you. So the next time something like that shows up for you, my invitation for you is to just sit there and go, but is this a true belief for me? Is this my truth? Is this true? And I would almost guess that a lot of the time you will find your answer is no. So for me, when I do those things, the first thing that happens is this: my head starts shaking no almost involuntarily, which is my body telling me this is a no. And everybody has access to that. That's not unique to me. You probably just don't realize your body gives you signals too. Some people feel things. How many of you actually have like a gut response, a gut, like, how many times people will say, oh, I just get a gut feeling. I actually don't get a sensation in my stomach, an actual sensation like that. That is probably because your strongest gift is clairsentience, which is the gift of feeling, right? My strongest gift is absolutely, I'm clear cognizant. Like I just know. I know, and there is nobody on this entire planet when I know something that could convince me otherwise. Let me tell you. So, okay. So I talked a lot. What are you kind of hearing inside of that? Anyone? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is my thing on? Okay, okay.
Yep.
Well, I don't do Zoom, so I don't know how to work it. This is my first time.
You're doing great.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely makes a lot of sense because you do have such a, vision of in your brain of like, oh, well, I have to do it this way, or, so and so that I know did it this way and blah blah blah. And for me, it's like randomly I will just like be walking, cleaning, doing something, and it's like my ear just starts ringing, and it's always my left ear. And it's so much so where I'll like stop in my tracks and I'm like, okay, universe, what's the message? Like,
Yes.
send it to me.
Yes.
I'm open, I'm ready, and but it's almost like I never really feel like I get a message. And maybe it's just I'm not paying attention enough. And I have two smaller kids as well. So I think that kind of can fog things up a little bit.
And I would say what makes and this is again, I call it my intuition, right? The blend of my opinion and my intuition. My intuition is when the ears ring like that. I know some people will say, oh, it's a sign you're ascending or blah, blah. Like I personally, again, would say for you in that case, that is your gift of clairaudience, right?
Yeah,
Anything
something's
where you can, yep. So it might not happen in that moment also, right? I think that's the other thing is sometimes when it's so strong like that, when it is really the universe just trying to get your attention to say, be present. There's something you need to be aware of. It might not be a specific message in the moment. It might just be more of a pay attention and be present. And for each and every one of you, the when you are present is when you are fully in your power. It is when the universe can send you in the moment messages. It's when you are tapped in at a new level. Your gifts are alive. Like the more present you can become, the more powerful of a creator you become.
yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
awesome. Let's see. Robin, I see your hand up. Hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. How can I support you?
Well, I have been drawn to the tarot and have been studying it. I've done a few different readings. And what I find is when I'm doing the readings or I'm meditating, preparing, that's when I see and sense spirits coming
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
I've you know, done a couple of readings and I'm kind of closeted. It's not like I'm out there giving readings, but I've given, I tapped in, put my toe in the water, say. And so then I would just say, okay, I'm going to just tell you what I got. And it would be someone's grandmother or it would hit with them. So I know it's like, okay. But I feel like there's some hesitation for me to go for it. And I don't know what to do to go
Yeah.
for it because it's like, just walk up to people and go, "Oh, I see dead people." I mean,
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like I could turn it on, and I want
Yeah.
to, and I've got the cards, and I've been studying, but it's like I just don't know what to do, and I guess some of the beliefs probably are like I want to make sure it's coming from the divine and it's the spirit, and I feel it's a huge responsibility that you're taking someone on this journey and they're pretty vulnerable and raw at times when you're talking about a past loved one. And
So
yeah,
I'm going to
that's where I'm
share
at.
something with you
Is that too
here.
much?
Nope, not at all. I'm going to share something with everybody here that I don't share very often. So, um, um, before I ever do a reading, I take about now probably about 15 minutes before that reading. I close my eyes, my laptop's done. It's I even sometimes kick my doggo out just so I can be really connected and I allow messages to start coming in. And what I'm hearing you say is you do the same thing. You are just choosing to get the messages from the cards, right? So this is
Well,
from
yes
my
and no. Like
very
it's before I pick up the cards.
So from my very first, these are some of my very first readings back in 2014. And you can see, right? Like all of this kind of information, I keep everything from my readings, all of these notebooks and all these pages, right? But I just want you to see all of this that's here comes to me before my session with my client, before my reading. And I believe that it's it gives you kind of a framework, right? It gives you some different things that you could touch on. Some of the things are here like sister question mark. Sure enough, like her sister, I think had passed away because I have a little note next to that. Um, a bunch of different information can come in for you ahead of time. Again, if you allow the space. And that I think is not that I ever want to say I don't love the word mistake, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say I feel like that's maybe one of the bigger mistakes that people make is not giving themselves that time ahead of time to be present, to be quiet, to allow. That to me, that time is is really when it's like, okay, spirit, it's time to go to work here. And the majority of what I'm going to cover with them comes through me. Now, what I would say is try that, right? I think the other thing is practicing. So all of this that I'm showing you from my very first, probably, I don't know, month of being a psychic, all of that I did complimentary because I wanted to understand the gift,
Yeah.
right? And so I would say to people, are you just open for me to try this with you? I would
Okay.
find anybody that was open to receive. And I think that's another, right? Is you're talking about like the unsolicited, just believe me, I did it once and I never did it again. I walked up to somebody at Target in the cereal aisle and she was like, basically, F off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the unsolicited psychic advice. I mean, how many of you have ever got one of those messages like in Facebook or TikTok where it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, I
No,
pick
no,
up
no,
something,
no.
right? We're not like, that's what gives psychics such a bad rap. But so I don't ever give unsolicited. Um, it is always, me taking the time to really connect in, listen and get that pre-information. I think that's a really important part that a lot of people don't do.
Can I just ask you a quick thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I did do the readings, it was during the pandemic. So I wouldn't actually have any face to face. And I find that I connect better when I just tune into the person and get the information. Even when I was reading the actual cards, I felt like I could get in a flow. So I haven't really ever done one where someone's sitting across the table and
Yeah.
they're in
And I don't
presence.
think I mean, I think that's the
Is that
glorious thing
weird?
about Zoom, right? Is you don't have to. I mean, I have clients in Australia, I have clients all
Right.
over, right? And Zoom energy, it doesn't make a difference, right? Spirit, the messages, it's there. The connection's going to be there. In person,
I guess that's
it's a different experience, right? In person, it doesn't mean that it's a better experience. It's just different because you're face to face, you're heart to heart, you can connect. It's different, but Zoom is a gift for all of us to be able
okay.
to connect. And I, I personally think the best way to is through. And what I mean by that is practicing. What I mean
Yeah.
by that is opening yourself up. And what often happens, right, is, and this makes you human, and everybody in here human. Nobody ever wants to be wrong. Nobody ever wants to like start going down the path with somebody of, oh, I feel like I'm connecting to blank, blank, and blank, and the person says, you're not psychic, you're crazy. Like I have no idea what you're talking about, right? Nobody wants that. But the more that you allow your gift to lead, the more you allow your gift to, you trust it, and you just that you be the channel and let the gift come through you, the more beautiful, the stronger, the more experiential it's going to be for your reader, and they're going to want to come back again and again and again.
Okay, so
I have a reading after this. I have a reading after Coffee with the Universe, and I'm nervous. I still, after
okay, good.
10,000 readings, I have done 10,000 readings in 11 years. It blows my mind. And I still get this little bit of, okay, what's going to happen? How's this going to, and I've done it that many times. So it's what makes you human. And it just shows that you also want to be doing so good with your gift. You want to deliver
Yeah.
messages that are inspiring, that
Yeah,
bring
that help are
clarity.
helping.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I was putting this pressure on myself that my flow isn't correct until I take that next step and I go into face to face and I have to have these clients, interact. But I feel
There's
more
no rules,
comfortable
Robin.
just
You are the,
allowing it to come and then deliver this. I like to write it out for them and just deliver the paperwork and then
and I'm going to really challenge you to do a reading without the cards. I think the cards are your crutch. And I have nothing against tarot, oracle, any of those. Like I've got some decks, like they're like, to me, they're like a fun tool, right? But when I do an actual reading for somebody, especially like mediumship, that kind of, I don't ever use cards for my readings. I might use cards for social media, but not for readings, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
Stay in
much.
touch. Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's see. Hi, Jasmina. How are you? It's so good to see you.
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
So good.
Great. So I guess a lot has happened since my call with you.
Okay, so just for context, so everybody knows, what was it, maybe a month ago you booked a reading with me?
Yeah, a month ago. And
Okay, let's hear it.
yeah,
I'm
so on
ready.
the call, so for years when I have readings with people, I've had readings with people all over the world, and they've been telling me that I have healing through my hands. And I never knew like how to connect with this. I I just found like I was getting the same message over and over, but I didn't know what it meant. And then a year ago, I started a business where I help women with their womb conditions and heal from this. But again, I didn't know how to use my gift per se. So I was just working like on supplementation, diets, and like talking through their trauma. And then I had my reading with you, and then I felt like that was like the missing puzzle piece, my reading with you, where you told me how to channel and channel through my hands. And I feel like so much has happened since our call.
I love it.
So on the call,
Although I
you
have to say, I think sometimes that's what happens is like even I did the TikTok yesterday, and it is insane what is happening to people. They're like, what the hell? Like you made me psychic. Like I'm seeing shit. Like people are like literally, it's hilarious. It's not hilarious, but I kind of like I stir up the pot and then I'm like, well, having it good luck. You know? So
yeah,
I didn't
literally. So I just still didn't know how to use it, but you told me to practice, and I did a practice reading with a family member, and it went okay, but I have to be honest, like I did have imposter syndrome with it.
Mhm.
And then I just went away to Lisbon and I offered a day full of free readings for women, and it went so well. It was very scary that I was just like on point with everything. And I guess there was a stage where like what I do is I pick up things from their past,
Yeah.
like kind of the starting point of trauma that they haven't processed that they've kept in their wombs, which then adds up and leads to coming out physically, such as PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, right? So I'm having all of these readings with these women, and they're connecting to like the memory that I'm bringing up for them. And they're very specific things. So I'm like, okay, then maybe I can do it. This is crazy.
Yes. I
But
told you.
yeah, I know, so weird. And then something popped up about someone's future, like
Mm,
romantic interest for them. And this isn't something like I'm focusing on. So I
sure.
found that really strange, but it's clearly a message I had to give to her.
Sure.
But also, she had a question about her fertility. And
Okay.
in my reading, I picked up that she's not going to have children. But I didn't know how to deliver this message, right?
Yeah.
It's a very specific personal message. So
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know, I
So let
guess,
me break a couple. Yeah.
how
Let
do
me
I
dive
deal
in
with
here. So
that?
a
Yeah.
couple things. Um, just because you know it and receive it doesn't always necessarily mean you deliver it.
Yeah, and
Um,
I didn't deliver it.
especially on, in fact, that's one of the things I've kind of questioned, like, why would you have me know this universe? But it might just be for validation for yourself or just understanding how you hear, how you feel, how you know, right? It can just also be as your gift is awakening, like your awareness of how things come in. When you deal with things like fertility, maybe infidelity with somebody, um, uh, not a lot, but many times throughout my career, I've had a really strong sense when somebody is going to, pass away. Those are just not things that I ever share because of the dramatic way it can alter someone's life.
Yeah.
And not that as a psychic, we don't want to use that gift to help people, right? But we want to deliver messages that allow them to make choice, that allow them to choose the path, that show them what's available to them, the path that they're on, where they're kind of headed. But at the same time, right, and this is again, unfortunately, why sometimes psychics get a bad rep, is people still do have free will. And we want to be able to help them make choice from that place. That's what's gonna, I mean, I've had people where I'm like, okay, if you don't want any more kids, I'm telling you now, he needs to get a vasectomy. Otherwise you are having another child. No way. Sure as shit. 3 months later, back in my office, you were right. We're pregnant. Weird.
Yeah.
Didn't I just tell you this? Right. So like you have it. So number one, it depends on your relationship with your person. Number two, I have chosen to use my gift in a very particular way like that. I am not going to use my gift to bring forward something that could really be heartbreaking and devastating, possibly to somebody in that moment, even though I might know it. What it does give me, though, is access to information to maybe start supporting them with their mindset, their confidence, other things about their life, so that if they ever get that news from a fertility doctor, they might know how to trust their intuition, navigate in a totally different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
We are, when you are gifted, it is a privilege to be able to serve clients in that way. And I believe in psychic etiquette. I believe in unsolicited, I believe in not doing unsolicited messages. And having a psychic delivery that is only going to elevate your client where they are at. That is it. And of course, as you first start, it takes a little bit to get comfortable, right? Like I'll never forget it. And I'm grateful, and it was uncomfortable at the same time. One of my very first readings, I didn't use that psychic filter. I laid it all out there, right? Like, yeah, I feel like your mom's going to be, now she did ask the questions and I gave her the answers, but man, she asked, do you see my mom passing soon? I said, yes, with about 5 years. I also told her I saw her getting a divorce, and both of those things happened. But in the moment, she was upset with the answers I gave her, right? That didn't, that, and so I learned very, very quickly in my readings, psychic etiquette, psychic filters. How's that
Okay.
feel?
Yeah, that feels good. And I completely agree with that, to be honest. And I did, even though I was asked directly and I did get the answer, I I didn't deliver it full on that way. And instead I focused on all the positives I was seeing for her, because I saw so much positives for her. Like the
Yeah.
relationship that's coming in for her, and her working with women, that's what she's meant to do. That's her business. So
And I don't know when it comes also, I will say, and this might be my gift. I don't want to project this on you or anybody else here. Typically, when I am, now you were tapping into infertility, which is different, but oftentimes when I connect into people that are going to have children, have a baby, something along that, my timeline around that is about 2 years. Anything after that 2 year mark gets a little fuzzy for me. Not that I don't pick it up or sense it, but it gets a little bit fuzzier. I don't know if that'll be the case for you or if other psychics. I've never actually asked another psychic if that's, but I feel like if I see it in a 2 year window, I'm 100% accurate.
and I remember you saying that on our
Oh,
call,
really? I don't remember telling you
speaking about this. Yeah.
that.
And you said that because something came up for me. And so, yeah, I remembered that. And I actually said, like, oh, I don't see something yet, but I do see this guy coming in. So I kind of like,
Yeah.
pivoted. Yeah.
And I've explained that to people, like this window is about two-ish years. And I'll ask them, I'll be like, do you want to know if it's a boy or girl? Because I tend to also be able to tap into gender at that point, where after that 2 year window, I don't, it's just, it's just a little fuzzy. So anyway, well, I'm happy to hear you're using your gift and it's going well. And yeah, we need you. We need you using that gift out in the world, girl. Well done.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so good to see you again. Hi, Lauren. Everybody's starting to get brave now and raise their hand. That happens every call.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the Lauren, right? Or is there another
Yeah,
Lauren?
yep.
So you were talking about how you were conditioned in the beginning of the call, and I relate to that a lot because my parents were lawyers, so they're
Mm,
black and white.
traditional, practical.
So when I would come to them and say, "Oh, I see dead aunt so and so came to visit me,"
Mm,
they were like, "Honey, no, that didn't happen.
yeah.
We're cut off." And then in my late 20s, I've been trying to bring them back. My late 30s. I can do past life readings and inner child work. I feel like that's my specialty. But when I try mediumship, I get really basic messages like, "Oh, I'm watching over you." Like, people want more than that.
Okay. Okay. So yes, they do, right? As a evidential, if we're talking evidential mediumship, right? Like that's where, for example, I think I use this as the example almost every time. My very, very, very first reading, I was like, I see a young man here. He has a red sweatshirt on. It has the number 23. Can you tell me what that is? And she was like, yes, that's my son. That's what he was wearing the night that he passed away. Number 23 was his soccer number, right? So like that's what you're kind of talking about, right? Like when you're doing mediumship, people want to know without a doubt that who you are bringing forward is their past loved one. They want to know that it's not vague, general, that just anybody could like
Yeah.
anybody could say to them. Now, what I will say though, Lauren, is sometimes what you just said, you said to them, like they're watching over you and they're with you. It's not necessarily the words sometimes that you say with that, but the emotion and the feeling behind it from their past loved one in spirit that comes to you and through you that they feel.
Mm.
Sometimes it is those simple words also combined with some of those evidential pieces that makes the reading so magical and special for them. Sometimes it is those like that's probably one of the number one things that I get asked is my past loved one with me, right? They just want to know that and feel that. And so the simple words of saying that is what you want to deliver. And then also, if you can, weave in I don't know, I just keep picking up on perfume. Oh my gosh, that's my grandma. Like that was like her favorite thing. She left me all of her perfume bottles, right? And that's where I was saying at the beginning of this call, everybody gets to come on a field trip with me to get more coffee. Not that I need it, obviously, but it is coffee with the universe. So, and I'm not about to have my kid make it for me. So with that being said, um, I believe that you probably just need to connect a little bit more to some of what those evidential pieces are. Like I said, like the perfume or something. So do you ever take the time ahead of time to let that kind of come into you? Do you get subtle things like that? And are you just nervous to share them?
Well, really, my readings have been centered around past lives. So because
Oh,
I'm
okay.
so nervous to do
So that
evidence.
I think is probably the key more than anything. And when you say you're nervous, what I'm picking up on is it's not that you're necessarily nervous, you're scared of being wrong. And that I think is what keeps the majority of people from being able to deliver incredibly accurate messages, to be able to bring forward like it's because they're so worried about being wrong instead of opening themselves up to being connected. Um, I have remember that notebook page I was showing you? When that information comes through, it is incredibly rare. Is Jasmina still here? Jasmina, do you remember when I did that with you, that notebook page? and how many we went through almost line by line, right? And there almost everything. I would say there's usually maybe one or two things that don't get highlighted, that don't resonate, that don't match, right? And I don't believe it's because I'm like more gifted than, I don't believe there isn't this like, there's a psychic spectrum, absolutely, but I believe that the way that I access information, everybody has access to that information. So I would give you a couple things. Number one, open yourself up to practicing, not from a past life perspective, but from doing a traditional psychic mediumship session, right? No cards, nothing, just you and spirit. So that'd be number one. Find somebody that is going to be open to the experience with you. And if you're wrong on a few things, you're not going to beat yourself up or feel like you're going to be judged or any of those things. Having that practice is so sacred. It really, really is. And here's the other thing. This is for you and for everybody. I also really believe that it's important to establish what I call a psychic library. So that you understand when you see certain things, why you're seeing them and what they mean. So for example, when I would close my eyes, I kept getting the image of a green pen in the very beginning. And I started to realize that when I would see this image of like a green ballpoint pen, just green ballpoint pen, that it meant that that person was supposed to be doing creative writing. That person should be blogging, writing a book. We're writing a book. There was something about that. 11 years later, I still see that same damn green pen every single time, right? So there's also something where you start build now. Remember I told you the story about number 23? That number has been significant for me as one of my signs that I get. It also typically can tell me when somebody's going to have, like there's something about their child, right? Because remember I said that was their child that had passed away that I was picking up on. So I believe also start a psychic library. Even if it's like in your notes app on your phone, what do these things mean? Why are you seeing them? Because you're seeing them for a reason. But sometimes they're so subtle, you miss them. So
I have a few of them. So far, I have a few of them. Like when I see somebody laying on concrete, they're dead.
That's pretty harsh. There's probably more, right? Again, there's probably more. And even if you haven't accessed them yet, start access. Just ask for some, right? Like I have no idea why, but just in this moment, I got the image of an apple. Anyone else or anything with an apple? Maybe that's your first one to ask about, right? Like if I see an apple, what does that mean? Does it mean are we going to go stereotypical? Are they a teacher? Are they meant to be a teacher? Are they is health and wellness important for them, right?
I hear a new beginning.
Nope.
You hear
perfect. Yes, it is for you. Absolutely, it is new beginning, right? So you just proved to me, yourself, and everyone here, you can do that.
Thank you.
And I gotta say, like, I really believe the only block between you and accessing your gift is you. There's nothing else. There's not unseen force. It's not your fucking chakras. It's nothing like that. It is your mind. That is truly what it is. It is your mind. It is your fear. That is the only thing keeping you from being an incredibly gifted and talented psychic medium. That's it. It's you.
Oh, yeah.
Said with love.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Hi, Indigo. Nice to meet you.
Hello, great morning. Hi,
So
everyone.
freaking, you're adorable.
Thank you. So I'm a bowl full of everything, right? So I come
Welcome to
from
the club.
a grandmother who was a dreamer, and I come from a
Mhm.
grandmother who was a speaker. So
Mm.
those were gifts that I inherited. I first saw spirit at 4. But as I started to get older, distractions, I guess I would say, would come into play. As I
Life
started
starts
to, I sent you
lifing.
this long email. You're gonna have to have a cup of
Oh,
coffee when you read it.
I apologize if I haven't, so I had a TikTok go like, I don't know if it's considered viral. It's at like 150,000. Where did you see it? Is that where you, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
it went,
was the one of the first things I saw this morning, and I was like, this was meant. You asked the universe for a teacher, so here she is, right?
yes.
So I every time I start to align, things would happen. Like I would have really tough situations in my life. I would get the unsolicited downloads. Last year it was in Bloomingdale's. I kept hearing she's gonna fall, and I'm like, nope. I was telling Spirit nope, and then I turned around and I saw an elderly lady who looked like she was sick. Her family was walking ahead of her, and she was shuffling. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of something I feel like need to because if she
Yeah.
falls, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I hear mainly when it is a traumatic situation. Last year, I was beaten very badly by my daughter's father, and throughout the experience, Spirit was talking to me. We ended up going through to a domestic violence shelter, and initially I
I'm
thought it
so
was
sorry.
psychosis because of the trauma. I thought I was in my dark night of the soul. But these are the experiences where I'm hearing very clearly, and I want to get to a point where it's not something like that, where I can connect and I can get those messages so I can be able to not only use it to fortify my own self, but to help others as well. So
Yeah.
I need to like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think number one is, and this is again for you and for everybody, what having gratitude for that gift to be able to get you through something like that. Oh my gosh. Like that's just,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's amazing. And I'm glad that, you know, you and your family are okay now. I would also say that I bet almost probably everybody here would agree with me. I my clients are a past version of me. There's so much that I see in them of questions I've had, things that I was stuck with, things I wondered about, like experiences I went through, right? That my life, my life allows me to experience blended with my gifts, I believe is
mm,
what makes me such a powerful psychic medium. I really do. It's being able to connect, having that empathy, like being able to put yourself in that person's shoes, right? So, not that you only want to use that gift to help people in dark, traumatic, you know, toxic situations, but you can. Who better than you? You've been
yeah,
through it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that you have a bloodline with speakers. I don't think it's a coincidence. I hear shaman, you know.
oh my
Um,
God, not again.
did you,
Oh, that has been coming into my life for like the past 2 years. Even in the medicine community that I work with, I
two
told them, I
years?
was
That's
like,
a long time.
yeah, yeah,
Hold on a second.
yeah.
I want to ask you this question and everybody. How many of you have felt this, heard this, had somebody, and it's been like years and you've done nothing with the gift?
I've been afraid, honestly. I've been
Yeah.
afraid. I've been
Yeah.
afraid because like with my family, I can sense when someone's about to pass away because
Mhm.
they're on my mind like for like they just pop up and I just keep thinking about them and I'm like, oh God, I got to give this person a call or like I can sense
Do
that and
you?
that
But then do you? I think that's the other thing, right? If you're getting all of these messages, are you then taking the action that goes along with it?
I can't say with certain no, I don't. I don't. Because I get distracted.
What
I get distracted.
Yeah. So I would say that is probably the first thing for the majority of people to learn, right, is the power of pulling yourself present and being in the moment, being able to connect to whatever the messages are, and then take action on those messages, especially if they're messages for yourself, right? So again, like when I have that, I don't know if you were in the call when I was referencing, like I get almost like a notebook page full of information for my clients when I'm doing a reading. And the majority of it, and this is why I started doing psychic coaching, taking it beyond a reading, because I give them this whole list of things, right? Like time to start writing your book. You need to like navigate this relationship. You got to work through this thing. I feel like you're going to be moving in the next 6 months. There's things that need to be fixed in your house. Like there's this list of things that people typically need to transform in their life and or business. And it's difficult for them to do it by themselves, right? That's the power of having a mentor, a coach, a guide, some type of support there to give an extra layer of accountability. And when you don't have that, combined with kids, partners, trauma you've been going, like it's difficult to stay on task. But you're here now, and so you can start now going forward from today. When you feel that, when somebody, I have this a lot, somebody will, usually a past client, not a coincidence Jasmine is here today because I was just thinking about her. I can just, so right, so funny how many times you say that it's psychic. But when you get those, being able to act on those messages, reaching out to, hey, I was having coffee with the universe and thought of you. How are you? And it's, when I do that, it's genuine. It's not, ooh, do we need to work together again or something? It's like, what's going on? And typically they're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you too. I need to book a call, right? Like things like that happen all the time, but it's because I allow myself the space to get present. Most people don't give themselves space.
Okay. That you mentioned something else that's also been repeated to me over the past 3 years. It's time to start my book. I spoke to someone a couple of weeks ago from my medicine community, and she's like, have you started your book yet? And I'm like, okay, universe, I hear you. But again, the fear, the fear of truly exposing myself and being vulnerable and open, I don't like.
Think of it
That
in a
has
different
led,
way. It isn't
yeah,
for anybody else, it's for you. That
okay,
book is for you. You don't
I
ever
should.
have to share it with anybody if you don't want to. Again, do you know that the majority of the people on the planet, I would love, I need to find the statistic. There was a statistic. It was like 98% of the people on the planet feel like they want to write a book, and only like 1% of the planet ever does, or something. Like it was like, maybe it was
Oh,
like
wow.
99% of the planet wants to write a book, but only 1% of the planet ever does. It was something like that. And I was like, because everybody has a story, right? Everybody, but that's for you. Now, if you choose to share it, great. But writing in itself is healing. The
Okay.
act of giving yourself the sacred space to write is healing. Giving yourself like coffee with the universe in the morning, where it's me, my coffee, my pen, and my notebook. Good Lord. The things that I have uncovered and learned about myself and what I'm meant to do and what is next. It's there's no therapist on the planet that could give me more than what comes from this practice. Give that to
Gotcha.
yourself.
Okay. Well then, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Anyone else? Any other questions? Beautiful column. Loved it. Anybody have anything for, I can't help myself. I mean, I am the business psychic. Anybody have anything for business? Any questions there? One of my favorite things to tap into. Yeah, Laura, don't be shy.
Sure. So, it's I see it as a more challenging time economically, and so what messages you have to encourage me, to encourage us, is to how to be creative, and how to creatively navigate through this and utilize the opportunity.
Great question. Before I became a psychic medium, I was in the banking industry. I did investments and insurance for about 15 years. Loved it, was really good at it. I had my Series 6, 63, and 7. If any of you know anything about it, I loved it. But then when this gift came alive, I was like, I could give a shit less about doing investments and like, I'm all in, right? So why am I bringing that up? Because there was something that I learned that I think about all the time, which is the market is always fluctuating. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, right? It has since it's been incepted along with economies all across our world. I have a belief that we create our own economy for ourselves, though, by the thoughts that we think and the beliefs that we believe. So when you said it's tough economic times right now, like what that means for you could be something very different for somebody else. The things that I've gone through in the past 6 months financially, I don't believe have anything to do with what's happening on our planet. I believe I had to go through what I went through over these last 6 months to get to the place that I'm at right now, right here, right today, present here. It's not because I saw something on news that says we're about to go under. I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched news like that, right? Now, with that being said, are there times that business is good, business is average, and business is below average? Yes. And that, I think, is what you have to look at is this is maybe happening now, and it probably could happen again because that's what happens with businesses. You have to be able to weather the storm. And what most people don't do is they quit when the business gets tough, right? They haven't got themselves to a place where they can weather the storm. And that's why I reference like the stock market, right? Peaks, lows, highs, valleys, right? If you weather the storm though, you're gonna come out ahead every freaking time. So for you, what is it for you that helps you from a mindset perspective, that helps you from a manifestation and a belief perspective, get through the tough times in business? I had 10 amazing years. And then the last six months have been a little bit more on the difficult side. I went through a divorce, lots of factors, right? Not once was I ever like, it's the economy. Nope, it's me. Bitch, it's you. It's me. Like, I really, and when you take that radical responsibility for it, when you take that ownership, oh man, like seriously, some really powerful things can start happening for you. Perspective shifts, paradigm shifts. I also think going through what I just went through is probably having me show up in this moment for you differently than I would have a year ago, 2 years ago, when I'm having, huge cash 25, 50K, $1,000 months, right? Versus not, then going from that to not so great, right? So I think I maybe got out of touch a little bit with, oh yeah, that's right. Like so I think all things also happen for a reason, a big reason, usually. Money is a big part of our life. And there, especially as a spiritual entrepreneur, so many different things weaved into that, right? Like you shouldn't charge how many of you have ever shouldn't charge for your gift? Are you freaking kidding me? The transformation I provide, the clarity, the guidance, the wisdom, the strategy, the insight, the healing, the comfort. I should be we should be one of the highest goddamn paid professions on the planet. Are you kidding me? I do for some, and I bet some of you do this too. I do more for some of my clients in one reading with me than some people do ever, Oh, she didn't like that.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why did she pop up? Did it trigger or she just had to go maybe?
Leap away. That's what it popped
yeah,
up.
Interesting.
So, do you dabble in astrology at all, or do you use that as a tool, or do you think that even goes?
Great question. So just in the last, I would say, mm, so I would say the last 6 months to the last year, I've been curious because certain things started happening, right? Where I was like, why is this happening? Like, I am a why person. Why is this happening? Like, okay, is there actually something to this like freaking
A reason for everything?
Mercury in retrograde? Like, what is actually happening here? Is this me? Is it astrology? And what I have come to find is I actually identify more with some of the things like I'm an Aquarius sun, I'm a Leo rising, and man, do I identify with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of times the things that are happening on an astrological level don't necessarily match up to what's happening for me personally. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think
Yeah.
it's a great tool. Just like I think cards are a great tool. I think pendulums are a great tool. I think astrology is a great tool. Human design, gene keys, all of those things, right? I think they are great tools, but I think your intuition, I think your connection to the divine and to bring in downloads, that is stronger than anything else out
Absolutely.
there.
I think I'd like to say with that, when I did start really reading into my own birth chart and just kind of, figuring out who I am, I think that that's when my intuition kind of peaked for me, because it just gave me like a sense of confidence. And it's like, oh, well, I was always so insecure about, A, B, and C. But after reading this and learning this in my chart and about who I am and resonating with, some of it, it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay that I'm that because I'm supposed to be that. So it just gave me like a sense of confidence, I think. And I think that was my first step into like the spiritual side of things. And ever since then, I've been like all into the crystals and, just like all into
So here's what's
that
funny,
type of
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Is I just actually wrote an email about this not too long ago. So I've been doing this work for 11 years as a psychic medium, and I actually don't consider myself spiritual.
Yeah.
Like I consider myself intentional and mindful,
Mm,
but I think that word spiritual has become so big and broad and put so much underneath the umbrella that like I love that you love crystals, right? I
yeah.
just it's not like
Exactly.
it's not something that, I use or do, or I think they're cool. Like anytime I never buy them, but like when I like, but my clients that believe in crystals, let me tell you, I'm going to help them sell the shit out of that, right? Like there's
Absolutely. Yes.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Or like people that are like, oh, you have to, you need to go in and have a Reiki session and have your chakras balanced. Thank you, but no, I'm good. Like I like
Rebalance yourself. Yeah, you're
yeah,
good.
yeah, right. So I think it's a spectrum, right? There's
Yeah.
psychic spectrum, the spiritual spectrum, but I consider myself way more mindful and intentional and I would say probably creative than anything.
Absolutely. And that's definitely something, I mean, that's why you're able to tap into your stuff as well. You're very intentional about what you want to do with it. So, yeah.
And there's no interference from anything. Like
Yeah.
it is me and the universe. It is me and whatever source, God, spirit, whatever you use in that, right? You get to use whatever feels good for you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Hi, Mars.
Hi, sorry, I had to figure out how to raise my hand and then I
You're
had to find
good. You're
a
great.
quiet spot. But I'm one of those people who did see your TikTok and was kind of like definitely blown away by the I remember now portion to a
Yeah.
point where I almost got teary-eyed because I was like, something is giving me a message all at once. And I feel like I'm at a time in my life where it's almost yelling at me in all directions. I
Yeah.
recently just had a person who I know from work sign me up for a tarot card reading just out of the blue.
Oh.
And they told me that they were able to see this for my life, some type of psychic mediumship. And I really, really want that for myself. And I've always
Yeah.
been really intuitive, and my mom is as well. And I'm just kind of like, I'm in a mindset of, if I want it too bad, am I pushing it away?
Great
Do you,
question.
do you believe that?
I don't necessarily think that you push it away. I think what happens more is you're expecting it to show up in a certain way. I have a client right now, and she wants to be clairvoyant so damn bad. She just wants these like downloads and visions, like the way she hears me talk about them and other people talk about them. And it's not happening for her. But what is happening is like her ability to like feel things and cry and sense people's like I mean, I get that, but not to that, right? Like I said earlier, my strongest gift is being a claircognizant. Like when I know something, good luck, good, you're never gonna that's my ex-husband. You're never gonna convince me of something other than that. Right. So what I encourage you to do is find what is your leading clair. I'm going to have some workshops coming up, the clairvoyant classroom, the claircognizant classroom, like some of those. Come to those if you can. Doing them very, very great rate. But the more that you can start building that psychic library, like I was talking about earlier, right? Like, okay, when my ear rings, this happens. Because the other thing I would say is there's a lot of things about being psychic that are cyclical, that are patterns, that are repetitive. And sometimes it's just a matter of connecting all of those dots, right? They're probably already there. If you already have all the puzzle pieces to being a psychic, now we just got to kind of put them together. It's just that sometimes the universe doesn't give you the picture of the box to know what puzzle you're putting together. So I would say, I also encourage everybody to be brave, to put the fear of being wrong aside, and to find some people that you can say, would you be open to me tapping into you, seeing if I can bring forward a message? Doesn't have to be a big reading, right? It could just start with, could I try to bring forward a message for you? Would you be open to that? And that starts to build your confidence. And when your confidence goes up, man, does more and more stuff just start to flow in. Holy cow, absolutely.
Thank you for that. I definitely, confidence has been a huge thing recently for me. And I feel like I'm finally at a space where I am confident in that this is not just woo woo, and what I've been feeling for years and years and years is something that I want to hopefully in the future help to benefit people, bring closure, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps, and I call that like kind of like, I don't know, my yes feelings.
Yeah.
So when I'm
That's that
saying something
clairsentience,
right, like I
right?
get full body chills.
Truth bump. So
Yes.
that tells me that you're probably like my client I was just talking about, right? That clairsentience, that feeling, that emotion. You probably get it in your, do you get that gut? Do you actually get like a response in your stomach to sometimes?
It's not so much like a gut feeling. It's very much like I'm getting them right now, like full body goosebumps. And
Yeah.
at work even, I can almost tell when a spirit is around me and on what side, because I can feel like more energy on that side, and it's
Does it get
impossible to
cold? A little bit
explain.
cold?
But I
Yeah.
hope you guys understand.
You're in the right space. Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes get cold. I often get cold when it's time to, like I kind of say, it's like it's time to go to work. It's time to start channeling. I in the middle of the summer, July, could be going to a group reading, and we'll have like my heated seats and heat full blast in my car, right? Because it can, so you can feel things. Of course, I'm gonna say like trust that feeling every single time. But like I was saying, I think it was maybe that woman Indigo. I think the other thing is, and this is for you and for everybody, it's time to start acting on some of this, right? It's time to stop letting the fear and the doubt of, can I do this? What if I'm wrong? Letting those be the things that keep you from your gift. I personally believe the practice, 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 being open to feedback, being open to it teaches, you are your own best teacher, right? Like when I host these workshops, yeah, I'm going to give some psychic development exercises. I'm going to actually, more than anything though, facilitate space for people to practice. That's what people need. I don't want to be your teacher. I want to be your activator, which most likely, again, if you were in that TikTok, it did that. I want to be your activator. I want to be your guide, but I want you to teach yourself. I want it to come from within, because even the way that I do readings, it's different from the way anybody else does. And the way you do them, the way you deliver messages, the way you connect, I want that to come from within for you and for everybody. I just want to hold the space for you to feel confident to do it, for you to, I mean, that's even why I hosted this call, right? Was for people to come and for people to see, like, this doesn't have, there's no rules, there's no ascension plan for your gifts, there's no right, wrong. You get to decide. It is with your belief, it is with your knowing that this gets to start to unfold for you. But it comes from you starting to take action, including, congratulations to showing up to this call. That's a great, great, great first action towards that, Mark.
Thank you so much. Like I was scared. I didn't get good sleep because I was like, is this real? We always kind of hit that roadblock of being told that this is someone trying to scam you or something like that.
Oh,
But
I know. And in
yeah.
TikTok, it's even worse than TikTok. I know. That's actually why I like to hold Zoom calls like this, right? Like, I am not AI. I am not a chat bot. Like, I am not ChatGPT, right? Like, I am
I can vouch for
100.
that.
Thank you so much.
Like, that's why I prefer going live. I prefer doing video. I prefer Zoom calls like this because of the energy exchange, because of the interaction, because you see you're also not alone in this. You know, I mean, being just on social media can feel very isolating. It really can. So so now if you register for today, you'll be on my email list, and I host a variety of different calls like this all the time because I prefer this. And not everybody does, but I do. I love the connection. I love the energy that comes from it. So I'm very grateful for each of you coming and showing up for yourself today and being here. So no questions, Ben. He says, first timer, glad you came in too. So that's something new. New for me. I would just say probably maybe in the last 6 months, I was like, I need to not just work with women anymore. I'm ready to work with some men too, because the majority of I would say it was probably 99% women, like 1% men. Every once in a while, a guy would come in, but very, very, very rarely did I ever get a man to book a reading with me. And so just recently, I started agency for psychics, helping them with their sales and marketing. And I was like, this time it's not just for women, it's for men too. So welcome. Glad you're here. Hi, cutie. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and for attending. I think I might, if you want a copy of this, let me know. You can hit reply to my email. Otherwise, that's how I'll kind of communicate with you. For those of you again from TikTok, I'll see you over there. Otherwise, sending you guys all off to go be in your gift too. See you guys soon. I need to